Welcome to my podcast, Rashad in Conversation. Today I'm joined by Charlotte Bradley. Charlotte started her career as a document controller in a civil engineering company. This was the first time she had heard of quality and the different ISO standards. She then moved to a new workplace at BT, where she learned about different ISO standards from business continuity, international standards for IT services, and information security management, such as the different ISOs of 22301, 27001, and the ISO 20000. Charlotte now manages the ISO Internal Audit team, the relationship with the external auditing body, ISO 9001 quality team, as well as a team who performs quality audits against major contracts. She's passionate about quality management systems and the benefits they bring to organization. Charlotte is a chartered quality professional and the 2024 International Quality Awards finalist in the Quality Professional of the Year category. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi, Shad.
Um, Great achievement last year. So once again,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah,
Uh,
it's feels like a million years away, but yeah.
I know a lot can happen in 12 months and
I know.
a great experience with the different disciplines in ISO. My introduction was very brief. Why don't you share with all of our listeners and viewers your career journey?
Yeah, so I actually started off doing an MVQ in beauty therapy. And I left school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, so I kind of went on into beauty therapy MVQ. When I did my qualifications, I think 2 years I spent doing them. I then just started applying for loads and loads of jobs in beauty therapy, then also other ones that kind of popped up on Indeed and places like that. Um, I then got offered two roles, one in the beauty salon, then one as a document controller at a civil engineering company, a mining company. And I decided to obviously go for the document controller role, doing the role there. After that, I kind of stayed there for I think quite a while. I stayed there, but I was learning quite a lot. I was still very young. I went as a document controller, and then I kind of started working with the quality manager. Obviously, because the document controller side of stuff went hand in hand with the quality management system. So I started learning, got put on courses, learning all about the document controller side of stuff, but then also the standard, ISO 9001 standard. I had a mentor there as well, who was outsourced, so she came in and helped me and support me. I then moved on to PlusNet, which it's part of the BT family anyway, PlusNet. And then one of the reasons I moved was because the scope of the role was bigger, and it was business continuity as well, which means that I'd learned 22301 standard. So I picked that up as well at this role, and then I moved on to a different part of BT, which I still sit now. And I've done three different roles here now, I think. I've done
Wow.
business continuity here, I've done ISO 9001 here, learn around the ISO 27K standard. Being within BT, it's obviously a big one for us. And yeah, and then I'm now where I am, which is managing the three different teams. One's very ISO 9001 focused, doing first line assurance. So look, kind of making sure that we as a company are compliant with the standard. The other team look at our major contracts and make sure we're working in line with our key risk controls and quality controls we have there. And then the other team are the ISO audit team who go out and internally audit all our different standards across the whole of BT and OpenReach. So yeah, it's started there. Now I'm here. It feels like it's such a long journey. But yeah, really, what I've done along the way is just learn different things, pick up different skills. I think that's what's been important.
And in an organization as complex and as large as BT with all of its subsidiaries, I'm sure the learning is huge as well because you're not
Yeah.
only tackling quality management systems, you're also diving another layer with business continuity and information security. So, what would be your biggest takeaway learning from all of those different standards, bringing them under one umbrella?
My biggest learning really is just to try and keep things simple where possible. When you've got such a big organization, then they all do kind of work in different ways. delivering different products, delivering different services, it's already complex enough. So trying to keep those systems simple, trying to keep the relationships with stakeholders simple, I think that's the most important things. I think sometimes, people do tend to overcomplicate things. And to be fair, I've been guilty of it a few times. I've tried to put things in too much of a ISO talk and refer to the standard too much, which actually people don't understand unless you are in the field. So I think, try and keep things simple and how it works for the business, not how it says it in the standard. And that's something that I've learned working on with big organisations, a lot of stakeholders with different knowledge and understanding of the different understanding of the standards.
Because we're bringing along with us so many different professionals from different disciplines in the
Yes,
organization. So we have to be able to speak not only our language, but their language and make sure that they are
100%.
understanding the end goal of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. I'm fully on board. Let's ban ISO language and let's just
Yeah,
talk about the language of the impact it's gonna help.
exactly. Exactly. And when you get raising non-conformances and stuff, my team raised non-conformances, trying to map it against things that are important to the business. So, we'd still map them to the clauses of the standards. However, let's look at what we can the risk management framework that we have. Can we link that to that risk management framework, and not just the ISO standards? And that's something that we've started doing as well, which has really helped when you're sitting in front of these different stakeholders. They can see it there, what that risk is and how it aligns to those risks that we have in Big T.
Yeah. It's always about the why it was a finding or a nonconformity and the so what. It's not about the
Yes.
clause said so. It's about for the business, why is it a finding? And the so what implication would that have? So that's
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
great. Charlotte, I know last year was a fantastic year, but
Yes.
I'm also interested in knowing if what success story you have that you'd like to share with our listeners.
Yeah, so success story wise, I think it kind of goes back to my point before around simplifying stuff. So in BT, we had, I think, 5 or 6 ISO 9001 standards across the business. They're all working in silos. We had different teams looking after that certificate, this certificate, this certificate, this certificate, ultimately all the same standard. And BT, we're one brand, we're ultimately one organisation. So what we did was decide to simplify it. So we've got one ISO 9001 standard. So obviously that, we have to go through a lot of process to bring those people in, stakeholder engagement, stakeholder buy-in, to simplify into one certificate. But ultimately, it's reduced costs, it's reduced internal costs, audit fatigue. We now have better audit plans, we have better stakeholder management and relationships with all the different people across the business. So yeah, I think that's a really, really big success story. I mean, it was a lot of work, it was a big project, but it's really helped our organisation. I think that's the point when I was saying about simplifying stuff. We don't work in silos anymore either, and I think that's the thing we were finding sometimes is you are working in your different teams, your different niches. You're not going to learn from each other. You're not going to pick up things from each other, and you're repeating processes, you're repeating efforts. We don't want that. We want that. The whole point of quality is really to reduce that. Yeah, I think that's a big success story we've had.
Very good. It's very important because when we come as business partners and help organizations work effectively and efficiently and look into their processes, it's difficult to do that and hold our grounds if our processes are not efficient, effective, and streamlined. So
Yes.
knowing that we can, hold the mirror up and look into integrated ways where you have one team that's doing, in essence, one thing, but with
Yeah.
different customers and stakeholders, then that's a great one.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think, one of the other things is as well is we still have those relationships with those certificate owners or who used to own those certificates, because we need that knowledge and understanding. And our ISO 9001 certificate now covers, I think, 45 locations, 45
Wow.
countries, and over 35,000 people. So, we can't reach all them people. So still having them people part of that certificate and the structure and governance structures we have in place for them means that they're not just saying, right, go away, your job's now no longer important. It still is as important. It just means that we've got one certificate rather than 5 or 6 certificates, or however many we had before.
Yeah. Fantastic. And I'm very interested in tapping into the International Quality Award, Charlotte, because again, it's a fantastic achievement. So why don't you share a little bit about the whole thought process of what prompted you to apply and how did you feel when you found out that you were a finalist last year?
Yeah, so I mean, I first did it for the first ever award, the Emerging Talent Award, and it was actually my mentor at the time, who, and I can't remember what year that was. Again, it was years ago, 2018. What was the first year of the
2017.
2017? Yeah, so 2017 Emerging Talents. That's when it all started for me, really, and that's when I learned about the CQI. That's when I got pulled in. My mentor told me about it, told me to apply for it. So I did it then, yeah. And then last year, I actually decided to apply when I was on maternity leave. So, I just felt kind of
Double
a million miles away.
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I just felt a million miles away from my role. I had this little life dependent on me, and it was a completely new role, and it was completely new experience and learning and everything. But I kind of felt not still involved in my a career and stuff still. That was quite a hard balance, really. So I thought, what, I'll just apply for it when she's down for naps, when she's I've not got her with me, but she's with my mum. I thought I'll just do it then, and just kind of kept my mind a bit not in mum world in my career as well still, and that's why I decided to do it. Yeah, and to be honest, I didn't think I'd get anywhere because it was one of those things that I just did off the cuff. There was no sort of like pre-thought. There's no buying anything like that. I even tell people at work I've done it. It's when I came back from mat leave and I had the email. I said to my boss, "Oh, I've done this," and yeah, so it's nice to know that your work and your efforts are. People do look at it and think, yeah, that's actually really good. That's something that we think is outstanding and award worthy, really. So yeah, it was an amazing experience, to be honest. I really enjoyed it, and meeting the people at Quality Live was just amazing. The talks that you have, the networking, it's a really, really good day. Really enjoy it. Gutted that I won't be there this year, but yeah.
Oh, well, it's there every year, and
Hmm.
you said something very good, and I think relatable to everybody. I think when we work and do the work that we do, and this is for all quality professionals, and I hear that from everybody, because we do it day in and day out. It's like, well, this is normal. Why should I put in a quality award? It's
Yeah,
but then when you take a moment and step away from it and think, okay, hang on a minute, this is not the norm. There is a reason why there is a quality department and a quality professional is because you're looking at it from a different perspective, and having
yeah.
that independent committee to look into it definitely boosts the spirits as well, and gives you that validation.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And like I said, those events as well. It's just being with like-minded people, and I think that's what I enjoy as well, going to them. And yeah, it's surreal, really, when you get that email through that says congratulations. It's the weirdest, most surreal thing. You think it just takes you back a little bit. So yeah, and the CQI and stuff, all the different things they've done since I first learnt about them. It's just come on so far as well, all the different
Good.
areas and stuff. So yeah, whenever I speak to quality people, I always say, join the CQI, the networking, the relationships, the mentoring schemes they have on there now as well. Yeah,
Excellent, excellent. Well, once again, congratulations. Fantastic achievement
thank you, Charlotte.
for last year. So that's brilliant. Now, we've talked about successes and we've talked about all of the learning, but I'm sure that doesn't come always easy with shining stars. There are some bumps along the way. So, has there been any difficult situation or a lesson that you've learned where you've sort of applied quality principles that help shift the situation?
I think. Uh, Now you're asking. So I think over the years there's been a few situations where things haven't gone right or things haven't gone exactly how I'd like them to. I think, like I say about stakeholder buy-in, stakeholder management, etc. I think it's also how you sell it and communicate things as well. I think that's what's important. So I remember when I've just first got this role that I'm in now, and I sent out this email to all my senior stakeholders, rushed it, didn't look at my English, didn't look at any sort of word and send it off. And I had loads of these things coming back to me saying, what is it about? There's no attachment. And honestly, I was so embarrassed. And I'm meant to be a quality person leading quality within an organization, and I'm not given that image, or that, that's not how it's looking to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I learned a lot from that. And I think, applying the quality principles to that situation, that, you get someone to check your work, you check it yourself, how you communicate things, how you're making sure people are aware of situations, and, all them sort of things, those quality principles, those what it says in the standard really to do. But I just applied it to that situation, and that created more work for me. It's just an email. It's not like it was something,
Mm-hmm.
a massive like fine or a loss or anything to BT. It was just a simple email, but actually it snowballed, and the repercussions of it was small work for me. And I actually sat back afterwards and I thought, if I'd have just done the quality principles, if I'd have just not rushed it, if I'd have taken my time, if I'd have made it as important as it should be, we wouldn't be in this situation now. Yeah, it'll get sorted out in the end. But yeah, I think the embarrassing of it more was for me, really. But yeah, I think as well, because that situation, you start to doubt what people might think of you and how you're working as well,
Mm.
and what deliverables you're putting out. I could have created this most amazing document, and it could have been, the best thing ever, because how I sold it wasn't right. First impression, first impressions are everything, aren't they, really?
Lasting impressions, yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
But those things do happen. But what you've
Mm.
covered is something really important, because what we don't always realize and recognize is that no matter how simple our simple or straightforward our interaction is with stakeholders and the business, it actually has a bigger impact because of the perceptions
Yeah.
they have, and because of the impact of the work that we're doing and we're helping them in their departments. So yes, taking a step back and making sure that things are checked. I mean, I have learned, I've had some similar situations as well in my career, Charlotte, and I have learned that I never click send when it comes to an email, no matter how simple the email is. I always write it, save it in my draft, and revisit it again. And
Yeah.
if I'm doing an email that has a sort of a major communication about something, I always get my team joining in and reading the email and sort of making sure. And this is especially on large communications that's
Yeah.
impacting. But it is quality principles. It is four eyes check. It is checking. It's what we tell people, maker, checker, review all of these. What is the message that you're trying to give? What is the action you want people out of it?
Yeah.
It's all valid points. It's all valid points. And that's how we learn. That's how we
Yes,
learn.
exactly. And you live and learn, don't you, really? You do. And no matter what situation, no matter what position I've been in, there's always been things that I've learned. And I think over, wow, the years I've now been in quality, and I think that's it. I have, failed to have to succeed. And I think that's what's important. It's not doing blame game either. You take accountability for your actions. If you mess up, you own it and you learn and grow from it. And I think that's what I tell my team as well. We all make mistakes. We're human. It happens, but it's owning that, taking responsibility for it, and how you're going to fix that that's important. Then it's not the mistake that's important. It's how you've handled the situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, if we talk only about organizations and customer perceptions, we always say you build loyalty with an organization as a customer when something goes wrong and they've known how to deal with it. And this is organizations in general. So how
Yeah.
about when we're dealing with humans back to back? So internally, if something happens, of course you want to build trust through integrity and through owning up for those issues and managing them. So
Yes, definitely.
with all of the learnings that you're getting throughout your career, Charlotte, is there any source of learning outside work where you sort of blogs or books or podcasts that sort of you get that inspiration and learning from to keep yourself up to date?
Yeah. So as I spoke about before, my mentor Jenny Clark. Her name was Jenny Clark, and she has done some books as well, which are really, really good. It's not just ISO 9001 of quality relating; they are around the different standards as well. They're available on Amazon, and it's called a series of books, and they're called the Simple System series. So you get 9001, 45,001, I think there is, 14,001. and they're just books around like hints and tips, some experience in there as well. So yeah, it's good to see how all those standards fit together as well. Which in this new role I'm in, which I've had to explore more, they really helped me. Really good books.
Very good. And for all of our listeners, when you hear quality professionals like us talking with lots of joy about 9001 and 14001 and all of those different standards, those are just codes relating to disciplines. So it's helping
Yes.
organizations in their quality management system, in their environmental management system, health and safety, all of those key principles that apply to organizations, and they are available under international standards that unify the
Yep.
language for all professionals. Charlotte, it's an absolute joy to have you on this podcast. Other than knowing you as the quality professional, quick fire questions so as our listeners and viewers get to know you as a person as well. So without
Oh.
thinking about it, just go for it straight
Go
away.
on then.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
A train ride or a flight?
A flight.
Cinema or theater?
Ooh. Theatre.
And finally, a beach holiday or a city break?
Oh, beach every time.
Amen
Oh,
to that. Every
I
time.
we did a city one in we went to New York in October, and
Lovely.
wow, with a 1 year old and two teenagers, it was too much.
City breaks are lovely, but I hear you. Beach, beach, beach all the time. Give me blue
Yes.
skies, sand, and let me lie down on that lounger and just
Yeah.
I'm up for that. I'm up for
Forget the
that.
world, lay there, yeah, 100%.
Charlotte, thank you so much for joining this podcast. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and your insights. You have been listening to Rashad in Conversation with me, your host, Rashad Isam. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit subscribe, follow, or download as I bring you monthly guests from around the world to share their stories of the quality profession.
Thanks, Rachel. Thank you for having me as well. Really enjoyed it.